Hi everyone, welcome to this Java tutorial on strings. Today I'm faced with a tricky little problem. I've got a string here which is storing the name of somebody, and the challenge is to determine the length of the name, the first name of the name, which is Max, and the last name of the name, which is Iberlig. Okay, so let's see if we can figure out how to determine the length of a name. What I can do is call a method of the string family of code. So all of these are methods that I can use to analyze and manipulate strings. Look at them. Oh, there's loads of them. Okay. Now the one that I want to use, I already know this by the way, is the length method. Now the length method of the string family of code returns an integer, which is the number of characters in the string that we are analyzing. Okay, so this name.length will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. In fact, let's create an integer. I'm going to call it name length. And let's use that integer to grab the result of that call to name.length. And let's then print the result. And just double check and confirm that it's 13. It should be. Bingo. Okay. Now I want to try and get the first name out of this string. I basically want to slice the string. And the technique for doing that is to find the index of this space. Because then I can understand everything before that index is the first name, and everything after that index is the second name. Now with strings, each character has what is known as an index. M is at index 0. A is at index 1. X is at index 2. And the space is at index 3. So I'm just going to delete this code for a moment and let's have a look at another very useful method of the string family of code. It's called the substring method. Okay. So the substring method allows me to slice a string. I'm going to start at index 0. I'm going to finish at index 3, which is the space, and I'm going to see what string that produces. Now to see the result, let's just create a string. I'm going to call it first name. So this is going to be used to store the slice, starting at index 0 and finishing at index 3. Interestingly, this finish point is not included in the string. This is just the finish point of the slice. The string that we will get is Max. So let's just print out the result of that and just make sure we know what we're doing here. So I just want to print out the result of first name, and we'll run that. And it's Max. And now let's do another one for last name. So that's going to start, the Y starts at index 4. And this time, I'm not going to tell the substring method when to stop. So if I don't give it a stopping point, it will just go to the start and just continue to the end. That's what I want it to do. Okay, so this is another way to use the substring method. And let's just see if that works. Yay, it works. Okay, now this is great, but what happens if I do this? Max's wife is called Maxine, and if we run the code again, everything's messed up. The last name should still be Iberlig, but I'm getting ne Iberlig. Okay, so things are messed up here. The trick is to grab the index of the space. If we can get that index, we can use it with the substring method. Okay, now let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go to my string. I'm going to call the index of method. Another useful, there it is, index of. Okay, now the one that I'm going to use is index of string. And I'm looking for a space. Now remember, the index of the space is, let's go back to max. 0, 1, 2, 3. This value is 3. So hopefully this will give me the value 3. And I'm going to store that in an integer. I'm going to call it space index. And let's just print it out. I'm just going to comment out this stuff for now. We'll get back to this in a moment. And let's just run this code and see if we get the value 3. Got some errors. Spelling. Oh dear. Let's try again. 3. Now let's change this to maxi. Okay, hopefully it will update. Yay! It's gone to 6. So that space is 6. Okay, so we've got a number which indicates the index of that space. We can use that number now in our substring code. We want to start at 0 and finish at space index. Okay, when this is max, it's 3, and when it's maxine, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll be 6 when we've got maxine. And the last name is the space index plus 1. That's the starting point of the last name. So remember, when we had max, the space index was 3, and then the second name started from 4. So that's going to be space index plus 1. Okay, and let's print out both. And we'll test if this works, and that will be the end of this introduction to string class methods. Yay! Maxine Iberlig. Let's change this to max. Yay! Max Iberlig. Let's change it to Santa Claus. Yay! It all works. Okay, so there's a brief introduction to some very useful string class methods.